Yeah, usually just pushes out a little bit of water, and water is introduced in the combustion, and it's a blowtorch at that point. So you're molten metal at that point. And once you melt a head or deck surface, it's no recovering, and it's a lot of work to fix that. Most of the time, it's scrap metal.
Yeah. So that brings us to, or how far are we from this latest event?
So
at that setup
in 2016, once we did break cert, and pretty much we're told, hey, you can't run this car anymore unless you slow it down. I had to make a decision to update the chassis. So
either slow down, no thanks, or continue on that path.
That's no fun. So not for a drag racer, anyways. And I had known Victor since we were 15. He was already doing a ton of fab work at the time. Let's say, when he first started doing work on cars, he was working construction and just doing this as a side gig out of his dad's shop, because dad had a full weld and fabrication shop.
Yep.
Not for automotive. You're talking, the guy would make like super fancy gates and railings and whatnot, and he let Victor work out of the back of it to do his own thing.
Yep.
And I had known him all through that, and he wanted to go on his own and potentially leave the construction industry. So he had picked up a nice shop over in Rhode Island, and I had talked to him about, hey, what do you think about updating the chassis on this thing? We need to do either 25.5, 25.3, or 25.2 spec chassis. And he said, yeah, that's no problem. I've never done one before, but you've seen all the cages I've done. It's just a few more bars. Get the SFI book. We'll look at it, order the tubing, and figure out what we got to do. So I was his first customer at the new shop once he left his construction gig. And from there, I had brought it there with intentions to do this as a winter project, take the season, the downtime, and update the chassis. And then next thing, we'd be racing the following 2017 season. And Victor looked at it, pulled a few measurements on the cage, and in a nice way, he was like, Matt, I can't update off of what you guys have here. This shit's crooked. If you're going to build a house and the foundation's crooked, the contractor's not doing you any favors by saying, yeah, I'll add addition onto some crooked stuff that you already have pre-existing. So I had to swallow my pride and say, yeah, man, I'm leaving it in your hands. I want it to be as if you would build it for yourself.
Yep.
And he said, all right, that's fine. But we're cutting everything out. So at that point, he cut the floor, firewall, trunk. We literally just had quarters, rockers, and a roof. And he built a chassis table. So that was his first table. Now I think he's up to 4 chassis tables in his shop, and he's doing amazing stuff. I don't want to
No,
give too much info on
incredible.
Him, you'll probably have him on at one point, but he's literally, in my opinion, the best chassis guy. One of the best in the U.S. He's doing cars that you see on TV and doing all these crazy events that you wouldn't even know because he doesn't post a lot of stuff.
It's just not,
He's very just focused on work, and I'll let him get into that. If you're lucky enough to get him on here.
You can track him down.
Yeah.
So I was the first chassis that he did. And luckily enough that we're friends, he worked around my budget and time constraints. So to do a car like that is probably 8 months to a year if you are able to keep the money flowing.
Right.
And it took from about 2016 till this was when we first debuted it. Well, it's been done for about a year and a half now, but we didn't race it right away.
Yeah.
So we're sorting some things out. So it took a little bit of time, but it was well worth it because if you look at that car, it speaks for itself.
I was going to say, and the results speak for themselves as well.
Yeah, and that's actually
with that time frame. Did you kind of go back to the drawing board on some motor stuff as well? All right, Cass, here's what I want to update.
It's interesting because the whole car is different. Literally, looking back at it, we could have kept that car together and just started with another chassis because the only thing we used was the sheet metal, the exterior sheet metal. So I could have got a donor and either sold off my car or continued racing it at 850.
Yeah.
But I have no regrets. if I would have continued racing it, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford to build this thing
to this level.
So yeah, I probably would have skimped on some stuff and whatnot. But a lot of times Victor was like, you know what, we're not using that, sell it, and didn't give me a choice. And I was so deep at that point that it was like, whatever you want, man, build it the way you would do it if it was your car. And by that time, he was already dealing with some really high clientele. So we were seeing stuff that I didn't even know existed.
I was going to say, like, get ideas.
I want that.
Yeah.
Or, see how this guy does it. He's a world record-setting 2J car or something like that. And he's like, yeah, you need to implement that on yours. And a lot of stuff just fell in line because of that. So being around all the people that he's been able to introduce me to, it's just been a blessing.
Are you locked in with this engine now? Like you can never change it?
No. So that's a nice thing because the adapters that we run, small block Chevy, I could literally put LS, 2J, Coyote, anything, the shock tower, dimensions.
Ford?
I have nothing against them. I have respect for every manufacturer.
So really it's the transmission you're locked into that allows you to kind of do whatever you want. Is that kind of...
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. The transmission's pretty industry standard for have a small block Chevy.
It gives them the option to go anywhere.
Right,
yeah. Could do anything.
Transmission.
That's
the one you need.
Start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have another question, but I don't want to get into it till we talk about all this stuff. So the car debuts. Actually, no. Let's go back again. Changes to the motor as well. Obviously,
yes,
you're being influenced by a lot of different things.
So I did at that time when we pulled it off. Decided to bring it to Victor in 2016. The motor was hurt at the end of the season. We ran an IFO at Lebanon Valley, Atco Raceway, and we popped the head gasket and torched everything, rendering the head and block useless. So I knew that I had to at least get a refresh on the motor. And I had met Tyler Hassing from Force Engineering out of Michigan at the previous shootout, and I've always been in contact with him about, hey, let's build a motor, because he was doing motors for pretty much the shootout winner for the past. Aaron Gregory is won like the shootout for the past 15 years, like undefeated. So I knew he was doing Aaron's motors, and I was always kind of in contact with him, like, hey, whatever Aaron has, I want. He's obviously doing something right. So I had been in contact with Tyler, and he put together a package that he gave me a price on, whatnot. I sent him some cores, and we were able to get a motor together. And the difference between the motor I was running previously and what he put together was basically just aluminum rod. He gave me that head gasket combination that we spoke of before, copper with the O-ring setup, and we ditched all the coolant. So now it's solid deck. So no coolant in the block. It's cement filled. That just keeps the bores stiff and whatnot, keep everything from moving around.
Is it actually cement?
It's
Block
very
cement.
similar. It's like a powdered grout, I guess you call it. Moroso sells it, but I'm sure they're not making this stuff. It's some industrial grade.
Civic guys used to use cement.
Yeah,
Some
guys use
straws.
epoxy.
Epoxy.
There's a couple different ways to do it, but yes,
Wow.
I call it cementing the block.
Yeah.
Then
Another thing that he did, which we weren't doing before, was dry deck the head. So he welds all the coolant passages shut on the head, and so there can't be any water introduced into combustion, whether you push a gasket or not. It's just a safety thing, and it's just way more consistent without having that introduction of
potential
water.
element. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we just run water over the top of the head just to keep the head cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the only cooling system that's on it. Other than that, the motor is pretty basic. He does his package, ring package, and whatever other specs he has that he keeps near and dear to his heart, but it's working.
Yep.
It's funny because people ask me what it is. I'm like, I don't know. Talk to Tyler. Like, he does the motor.
Yeah.
And he won't steer you wrong. But so we had that motor just sitting, waiting, and Victor used it to mock up all the nose and whatnot and set up the chassis. We got a lot of information from other vehicles that he's done that were successful in drag radial racing. So we knew like crankshaft centerline we were looking for and some of the different suspension pickup points. And when you look at it, it literally, we built the chassis off of the body and then put the body on it.
Yep. It always amazes me, the level of thought engineering to again, as we were saying, to drive as fast as you can for the shortest amount of time possible.
Some people would call it crazy. Yeah.
It is, I'm sure, but we all have our things, right?
That's
but this is one thing. It truly just every facet is geared towards straight line speed, and doing every possible thing to achieve that.
Yeah. There's the littlest things we look at. It's like the more detail you go into,
Right. You
like
can
from a wheel bearing composition, like what it's made out of versus, using titanium hardware on certain things.
So what are your wheel bearings made out of?
Fronts of ceramic.
Oh, okay.
The
All right.
what was the I wasn't
Yeah,
a
the
big
ABAC
skateboarding.
3s.
Yeah.
No, I don't know exactly if
But
it's the
like
same,
the
but yeah. there's
Skateboarder,
the
like I remember there being
smallest things.
ceramic ones that were so expensive,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I could
But
never.
there's a
like,
difference.
Yeah,
It gives you that competitive edge.
less rolling resistance.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to hold me back. It's
Prius tires.
less load to put it to keep pushing.
Civic guys used to run, before C's Racing, I think, is the company where they have the super long extendo rear arms
Oh, yeah.
that tuck them. You could spin those wheels for like half hour. But before they released that, dudes were running rear drum because it's lighter than rear disc, and they would just free spin because you just adjust the
Got 'em
shoes
out.
to do nothing. Some people wouldn't even run rear brakes.
I've seen that, in the DSM world.
Yep, they just run the front brakes. I was big into drag racing when I first entered car stuff because my friend Mike built.
I could picture you doing drag racing stuff way more than anything else.
Yeah,
CT was crazy.
I was
heard on
big
the
into
streets
it.
over there.
my buddy Mike built a drag Civic, and I was like, oh, we got to do this and this. I was watching all the dudes line them up, and I got big into it because I was like, oh, I'll just be like the support guy, Take a look at this.
That's cool. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't have the money to build a drag car. He's right. It's expensive as fuck. Like
It is. Unfortunately, the guy with the most money usually wins, but there is a facet of, dedication and hard work to it too. So
Yeah, for sure.
there's,
That made
guys willing
me-
to put it in.
that kind of made me walk because it's like at first it was just a bunch of dudes with Civics and like we're like, oh yeah, turbo kit, like sick, and it was just a stock motor, and then then you meet the big guy who makes 100K a year in 2008, and they're like, yeah, I made 800 horsepower. It's like, I don't even want to race anymore. It's not fun. You made it not fun, dude. Like, I don't know. I did a dart block. That's
No,
not fun. You're not
But no,
fun
I'm
anymore.
sure. I'm sure people were like, "Oh man, okay, I got to go back to the drawing board," and they figure it out. But they get creative, like you said when you first
Yeah.
started, where
I couldn't afford an ECU.
Right.
yeah, you couldn't
right.
get
To the
this, couldn't
junkyard.
get that. You go to a junkyard. You said you were using some kind of
Cold
wild
start
injector. Yeah,
injectors.
cold
The
start
16
injectors.
valve guys know what they are.
Yeah,
That stuff is like cool and fun and innovative to a point. But if it's all about driving, I wish they would do like I think they're actually doing it in one of the brackets now where you have to buy a specific blueprint motor K series if you want to race in that bracket. I don't remember
Yeah,
which one
that
it is.
one I haven't heard of, but they do have like turbo limitations, which
Yeah.
it's crazy at this point now. Even a 67 millimeter turbo is making over 1,100 horsepower,
Yeah.
and
These
the
dudes
spec turbo is $4,000. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you try to make it a spec class, but it
yeah.
costs this much just for the turbo.
now it's spec class, it's too, and a lot of the people, some people cheat too, where it's like, oh, it's
Yes.
stock housing, like the stock housing GTR guys.
Right.
And they're
but
not.
Yeah.
With a billet motor.
Yeah, with a bill motor. It's like, I wish, to some degree, I wish there was like more. I don't know. When you
Rules?
go karting and everything's the
Yeah.
same.
Spec
Sometimes number 3 is a little faster.
But
Right.
yeah,
I was just
spec-
going to say,
spec
Spec
Miata.
Miata is a great example. Yeah.
To a point, that's cool, right? But
But even one of my favorite series that we watched from the guys at Project Binky, Bad Obsession Motorsports, the one where they race
Yeah.
the Renaults or whatever.
yeah. So everyone buys the same Renault, and everyone has the same guide and,
Yeah.
and rule set.
Yeah.
But there's like interpretation, but also like things. It's like it has to be this, but
Read
no one
around the
said,
rules.
yeah,
Yes.
what it needs to be made out of, or and they did an entire series on it, like Josh said, and
I think I've seen that one. Is that
They
where
ex-
they mess with the rear control arms?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
sway bar or something
And
like
weld chains in
Yeah.
and a bunch of different stuff like that.
That was awesome.
Oh, to
It's
keep it
super
from-
cool. Yeah, just a bunch of different small stuff where, like Corey was saying, interpretation of the rule. Well, it doesn't say we can't not do this or, that sort of stuff. Hey, no, we met what it says right there, but we also did this
Yeah,
to
like
get
changing
there.
pickup points and shit for
All
extra
that stuff,
caster.
that.
yeah.
We deal with the same stuff in the drag race. And Victor does a lot of the X275, so it's like limited drag radial.
Yep.
And they require a frame rail. If you've seen what is considered a frame rail, you would laugh.
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
Right.
They'll skin it to the point where it's like literally a piece of tin foil and make it bolt in where you can remove this thing if you want to put a big tire and then meet the rule day of track radial racing, put the thing back in. It does absolutely nothing besides go for the ride along with the chassis.
Yeah.
So,
It's again, yeah, it truly like I like that portion of it as well. To where, you know, it's almost that what was his name? Smokey Unick. He was the guy who did all that in NASCAR. Of just like, well,
Cheating.
I'm gonna do this. Right. It just yeah.
reading the rule book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there was a Civic that used to go called 50 cal that one dude, if he was like misaligned, you could just walk to the back and just scoot it over. It was like literally 2 pieces of tube
Yeah.
and
yeah.
then a stock K20. And they were like, oh, it's stock K20. It was going 10s.
yeah.
Stock long block because it had like a 200 shot of nitrous on it and it weighed as much as his table.
Ridiculous.
But that was bending the rules.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, he's
You
following.
see
the
it a
rules.
lot.
So you finish the chassis, you update the motor, you have a more than capable transmission now. Cars debuted. Your plan was to go to the IDRC.
Yes, so I wanted to go back to the shootout because back in 2016, when the last time I had run, I had got runner-up, so second place. I never had won it before, so I didn't think I was going to be going there to win. I literally been out of it for so long.
I was gonna
just
say you've been
happy to go see my extended family over
right.
there.
Get
and
back into the groove. And,
yeah, guys I've been in contact with. I still attended as a spectator or go and help other people with race cars. We had the New England DSM group that always has a strong show in there, and I go and help out all my friends. But just to get back out there with my own car,
Yeah.
I was happy to do. So the intentions was literally just to show up and hope they let me race. The car has changed so much that, you read the rules that they had put out there, and I was like, kind of fit them. But again, like I was saying with the frame rail stuff, there was like shock towers required. So we had scabbed in factory shock towers.
Yeah.
They were
In the
there.
middle of the tubes.
They didn't say how much had to be there. they just said they needed to be
That
there.
is-
So
it's- yeah.
we had saved some of that sheet metal, put it back on just to meet the class rules and a couple other things that were required.
Did it even say you had to use them as a pickup point?
It didn't say.
So you could just weld the shock
promoter
tower
has
between
to
all the tubes. I
Look
love
at
that.
those rules
Yeah.
going forward and rewrite them.
Right. If they want to be
If they're
that specific
concerned
about
about
it. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were there.
Must be used in all
This is
capitals
great.
and bold.
So-
This is such a menacing
So yeah,
photo
you
of your car.
can zoom into
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's there.
Just welded to the top of the bar, baby.
So,
Did you put nuts on there too?
they're bolted in.
Oh shit! I like how you. Oh yeah, they're both there. That's so funny.
So yeah, I knew that we were skating the rules. Maybe the rules have to be rewritten or whatnot, but either way, we met the rules. And I was going there with intentions that somebody's going to contest this thing, and I'm just going to go and make test passes and have a good time. But the car was well received. We had got through qualifying, put up some decent runs on the first day. They let you do some open test session.
Yep.
And we kind of already knew what the thing ran back home because I had to renew my license. Everything had lapsed. So my competition license and some of the runs that we did back in Lebanon Valley, New York, and New Hampshire, we did 2 test sessions. We're looking pretty promising. So I knew the thing was going to go a personal best. I was just happy with if we could get back to where we left off at 823 back in 2016.
Yep.
We're making good progress.
You'd feel very comfortable and yeah, look towards the future.
At that time, the car made like 900 horsepower and weighed 2,850 pounds. So now we're 2,200.
Yep.
And it's making substantially more horsepower. We made the switch to methanol fuel, and we were using the 85 before. Much bigger turbo, better
NASA
motor.
gas now.
It was scaled properly where we moved weight around in order to make it ideal to get this thing to leave.
Yep.
And I knew just that alone with the same horsepower, let alone the added horsepower, that we were in good shape.
Right. Just
Probably be
making that
competitive.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was looking promising. We had run a 7-second pass back in at ATCO, and we went in with confidence knowing that we could probably hang maybe top 5.
Mhm.
'Cause we have some strong contenders like Devin from Boost and Performance. A lot of people have known him as the Red Demon. Who watch videos of him. He consistently runs 210 miles an hour. It's basically on the cusp of 6 seconds.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask about that guy.
He's
That was
still
the dude
around.
that won World Cup finals, right?
I think he won stick shift one year. Yeah, he's
Badass
Texas
car.
2K.
That's-
He goes to all the big events. He's
Yeah.
been doing it forever. The car is beautiful and it's consistent. He goes round. So I believe the last 2 years he's won.
He only lost once to that I remember, to that Fox that made.
It's hard to keep up with. There's
It's so
events
many,
that he goes
yeah,
to. But
yeah.
yes, it's fast. So
It's fast.
he was
as
there.
Fuck.
He was number one qualifier right off the rip, and I knew he would definitely be an issue. And then Aaron Gregory is a longtime stand-in shootout champion. He was in attendance. He took a few years off, and he was back and running strong. He was like number 2 qualifier with a 740. So I hadn't gone that fast up until this point. So I was like, hey, if I can at least get top 5, we'll be in the running. And things just fell into place. We had picked off a few slower cars in the beginning. We qualified like middle of the pack. And then I had a couple buy runs. And unfortunately, Devin had crashed the car in the semis, I want to say. And I hate to see that happen to
Right.
somebody. Like,
Yeah, it's
no way
awful.
to win. But
Yeah.
so number one qualifiers are now out.
Yep.
Everybody else that was left, I was like, man, I think
It opened the
we
door.
have something for these guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just ended up working out. We had played the tune-up strictly by looking at what everybody else had run on previous passes. And I had Tyler, the same guy who builds the engine, is also the tuner calibrator for it. And he was remoted in from Michigan, working from his office there, which is insane to think about, that somebody can call shots on this thing and do this remotely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he's been more than a blessing. Tyler has pretty much done the engine, spec'd all the electronics in the car, and calibrated everything. And
Yep.
from day one with the transition to version 2, I guess we'd call it, of the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chassis. So he was giving us tune-ups and suspension calls on it, and we'd make the changes. He would send over a file, we'd load it in and go out every round, and it would do exactly what he predicted. So
That's wild.
That's so sick.
That's
hard
just
to
wild.
You're just
shit.
looking at
Yeah.
data.
I was just gonna say purely on
You're
an
data-
analytics
data
standpoint.
analyst.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my day job.
pretty much. And he was pretty much calling these shots from remotely and doing chassis calls on it too, just by video, and
Which
the
that's-
data that we're given from the shock travel sensors.
Right,
and all that
right.
stuff. So,
Which, yeah, I guess. I mean, right, because he can see it, have a hunch, and then confirm that hunch via the data.
Yep.
It's crazy.
and some of the stuff is amazing. Like he even called certain issues with the car that he's like, hey man, I think you have a leak over here, because I'm looking at the shaft speed of the turbo or the EMAP back pressure on the exhaust, and it started to tank after about the 1,000-foot mark. And I was like, really? You can tell by that? And sure enough, I go into the car and find a crack. And I was like, wow, this is just
Crazy.
That's
amazing to think about. That
It's
he's
like
able
a-
to do that.
Who are you, good sir?
Human. He's like a human ECU.
Get out of my
Technology's
garage.
crazy.
And the fact that he does the motor too is kind of unheard of. Most times you'll get good tuners out there, but
Yeah,
they don't
but
do engine work or they sub it out. This guy does everything.
and this makes him a savant because
Highly
he
qualified.
knows all of it, knows the components. Yeah, knows what he has to work with, where things should be as far as parameters and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So he's been a blessing.
I love that it's a stock front end, and the fog lights work.
Doesn't have fogs.
I
Those
thought the
are,
last picture I saw fog lights on. It might have been a
those are
reflection
the
or something.
corner markers and the blinkers. All the lights work. All the windows work. It has interior lights.
Those
Yeah,
are turn signals.
Those are the turn signal markers. Yeah.
Either way, I mean, come on.
So I set it up with so Dave Fish, Fish Wiring, local guy to here. He wired the whole car, and I told him, "Hey man, if we ever want to drag week this thing, I want all this stuff working." So
Yep.
he integrated some cool stuff. A lot of the chassis stuff works on it still, and the engine harness, obviously, he got all working. So
Dude, the car's sick. I mean, it's a sick looking car.
What? I
Thank
mean,
you.
the wiring for. Did you start from scratch? Did he start from scratch?
yeah, so the way it works with this level of harness is everything is planned out on paper. So
Mhm.
he has a spreadsheet that he uses for all of his harness builds, and we go over all the I/O inputs, outputs that you want on the car, and any of the chassis harnessing that you want working. So everything's put on the spreadsheet. You sign off on it, and then he'll do your pin assignments to make sure your ECU has enough I/O to support it. If not, PDM or extra electronics that are required.
Yep.
He'll spec it out and give you some options, and then all of your mil spec bulkhead connectors. There's limitations to how many pins they have, so he'll spec out how many you need, all your amp draw ratings. He really is thorough. So that's one thing that I really liked about Dave, which there's other wiring guys out there that make harnesses, but they're just cookie cutter.
Connector.
You're either going to get a pass-through grommet, or this is the mil-spec connector that we use. It supports so-and-so injector or coil, and you get what you get, where he was very specific in the questions he's asking. He's like, hey, what coils are you going to run, or what fuel? He wanted to know more about the combo than an average wiring guy would, because he wants to know, hey, are each of these pins rated for the amp draws that you're going to require? So
the theoretical,
there was no like waste as far as our initial order for all the pins and bulkhead connectors. So that stuff adds up quick. So you can really get out of hand if you stop ordering the wrong shrink boots. Like some of these boots are $25.
Yeah,
right.
But, a single connector could be $500. But
plus you have a bunch of fail safes, I'd assume, and
so it runs on a Nexus
sensor.
R5, and that's integrated PDM with the ECU. And when we got that, it was debuted at the PRI show. Now it's a few years old, but I think I was one of the first ones to get it, and knowing that I wanted to have the PDM to just eliminate relays and whatnot to keep it clean.
Yep.
Some people don't agree with keeping the PDM integrated with the ECU, but that's a whole nother story.
Why? Just they want to keep it separate and
high amperage devices, they maybe noise or whatnot interfere with it. But Haltech's been around for years and has a good product, so they've done all their research and had this thing in beta testing under for a while. So they weren't going to release something that wasn't going to work, and I felt confident that it was the way to go. So did that, and it's been seamless. No issues with it. And Tyler prefers Haltech. He's been dealing with them for years, since the Platinum days.
Yeah.
So he's a fully sponsored driver for them, and he does a lot of tuning for every ECU, but Haltech's is preferred.
That's his
preferred.
And that's the one that you run.
Yep.
When that guy tells you.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to have to deal with it. Like, I can make my way around the ECUs, and I did up until that point where we made this version 2 car. But at this point, I just kind of wanted to put it all in his hands.
I was gonna. You've really kind of established quite a crazy team, realistically, who are all part of this.
I noticed after working with Victor and seeing how all these high-level guys do this, you cannot do this with one person. I don't care if you have the money or the knowledge. If you want to run that fast, you need to have dedicated people that are specific to each.
In their portion and niche, and just the best at it. Yeah.
And just entrust them to do it. If you can do it better than me, have at it. And you know what? My job is to drive the car.
Right. It almost in a way simplifies things, and especially when somebody, is helping with chassis setup and like, hey, let's change this, and this, and okay, cool. And one thing I was going to ask you, can you, at the speeds you're running and the times you're running, do you know the difference between that was an 8-second pass? Holy shit, I just went even faster.
So it's weird. When everything goes right, it actually feels slower because everything just is smoother. The passes that it's all out of shape and is all over the track, which feel insane, tend to be the slower passes.
Yeah.
You can usually tell a decent 60 foot and know it's on a good pass, but my fastest passes were always like the easiest.
No frills.
Yeah, no frills. It just goes down and everything goes smooth. So it's weird when you get to that point. When you run a little slower, you can see the scoreboard. So that's one thing. And it gets to a point where, I don't know, after like 10 seconds or something like that, you're going by that. You don't really know.
It's just not. You're just.
Correct. Yeah. It's just a blur past the scoreboard. You're not going to see the time. But, it's weird to explain. Like, the faster passes actually are less of an issue.
Yeah, it just
slowing
comes
down
together, and
usually too, because the end of the track comes quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever raced at Island Dragway?
I have not. I've heard it's
short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was curious if you had a problem stopping too.
No, I've never been there, but I've heard. I'd like
After
to
the time board is short.
Oh yeah, like a quarter as long as like maybe ATCO or E-Town
Yeah, I
was.
think Island is not an NHRA sanctioned track. I could be wrong.
Probably
but
not. No.
Like the NHRA requires a certain amount of shutdown for insurance purposes. or
Right,
whatever.
right, yeah,
whatever
it
is
just gets to-
double the quarter. I believe you're supposed to have maybe half or something like that.
Yeah.
Mile of shutdown. But
That was
yeah,
my buddy's
they're
first
not
track.
all equal. I'll tell you that.
He came back after his run, and obviously when you have the helmet on, all you can see is his eyes, and he's just like this. He's like, bro, there's like no room to stop, none, comparatively.
Yeah, most of them have a sand trap at the end, which is supposed to stop you. So yeah, that looks like it's very short.
It kind of does, yeah.
If you go to like Maryland International Raceway, the sand trap is deep. It's probably, I don't know,
This is
100 feet deep.
This is Island. I don't even think they were having them go all the way down. I think they were having them do that first turn off too.
Yeah, Maryland International or MIR.
MIR is like the coolest
That is the fastest track. That's where they hold the
World Cup.
World Cup finals. So
Oh, wow. Holy
this
smokes.
is a beautiful facility. But if you go down to the end of their sand trap, you can see that.
Actually, you know what? Let me zoom in again.
If you really, really send it, you'll end up on that main road there.
That's the thing. It goes into a road, but there is trees to stop you. So I don't think you would make it that far. But see, that sand trap's decent. If you get that far, you
Right,
you
you're
have
gonna,
other issues because
It went south pretty quick.
gonna
yeah.
end up in Bud's Creek.
Yeah, but yeah, head into the creek.
Wow. I mean, it's like 4 times the length as the actual track.
It's crazy, yeah.
See where the black.
I was gonna
mark
say right
ends.
there is the
It's a
end, yeah.
scoreboard, so that track you shouldn't have an issue.
I've always wanted to go to that one in South Carolina too. South Carolina, North Carolina. Fuck, what's the name of that one? It's got 4 lanes.
Yes, I've raced on. What is the name of that track? I've raced there for Drag Week once. It was cool. They don't do a lot of public events. I think it's
No.
more like a just national event.
Z-Max in
Z-Max.
Concord.
Vegas, I think, has since been acquired by the same
Yep.
owner, and they did the same
Yep.
thing there.
Las Vegas
Yep.
Motor Speedway
It's
in
cool
Vegas.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just 4 ponies.
4 wide. Yeah, just fucking line them up.
It's like 95.
I mean, it looks crazy.
It is crazy.
It's a wild
Uh,
looking.
You know, because you see something. I mean, it's gonna look like a super shitty photo, but I mean,
Yeah, it's so cool, bro.
When we raced there, it was just 2 at a time, but it's makes sense because you get oil downs and it just shuts down the whole production.
Right,
And
it ends. Yeah.
Everybody in the stands is like, "What do I do now?"
You have
Or
2
they all
more
rush to
chances.
the bathroom or to go get food, and then the lines get crazy. So having 4 is nice because you can continue racing, just shift everybody to the other.
I wonder who thought of that.
Somebody who loves cocaine and racing.
No, but like, who is like every single drag track has been 2 lanes,
Double it. Give
and
it to
they're
the
like
next guy.
4. It's brilliant.
I feel like
I mean, the expense is
double.
is
double
gonna
it,
be
yeah.
I would
double
assume
it.
Bucky's is going to open up a 10 lane.
That would be cool.
The old Bucky's 8 lane.
Yeah, that looks like a wild. I mean, as a spectator, it must be wild as well.
Well, we know that 2 of them shake your chest when they go by.
Oh,
right, yeah, I
Those
can
events,
imagine.
4.
Yeah, you just die. Just goes by. You're like, instant death.
So you partook in this race.
Yes.
You wanted to go, show up, middle of the pack, you were perfectly fine with.
I was happy just showing up and coming home with a running car, having some fun, seeing faces that I haven't seen in a while. And we went a few rounds, and then it started getting real once we were in like semifinals and realized, we actually have a chance of this thing.
Yeah.
And we had our fair share of like issues throughout the weekend, but nothing like the all-wheel guys. Those guys, God bless them, they work their asses off. Like they break stuff and have these things apart.
Right.
Every round, and they're going through some expensive parts where to compare my issues to theirs is not right.
Right. You take
put us in the
yours.
same, like we had the transmission out before one round and found some like loose converter bolts or flex plate bolts that were making a little noise. We thought the transmission was broken at one point, and we were getting called to the lanes. It was a buy run, which the rules for a buy run is you have to break the beams, and then you can either push it back or idle down the track, and it counts as a pass. But if you don't make the call, you're eliminated.
Yep.
So about half an hour before we were getting called to the lanes, I went to go start the car to bring the oil temp up and just do a pre-race check on it, and it sounded like a bucket of bolts, literally. Like I knew it wasn't the engine or rods because it didn't go with RPM, but once you put it in gear, it was clunking like real bad. So I called down to my transmission middler in Connecticut, Anthony Apuzzo, and was like, hey, man, this thing sounds like it's coming apart. These are the noises I'm hearing. It only does it in neutral and in gear. And he's like, well, you could have broke the planetary. Did you do a pass where it spun and then hooked really hard? And we actually did exactly that on the pass before. We had another buy run. We were trying to get after the short track and hit it really hard out of the hole. So we put a tune-up in it that was a little too aggressive, and it instantly spun, and I let out and got back in it. Didn't think anything of it until we got back and started hearing this noise. So he gave me a parts list, and Summit Dragway is only about an hour from Summit Motorsports. So we were like, you know what? We're here. We're vested. Let's go to Summit.
Yep.
We have pretty much, this was about 5 o'clock at night. They were calling us to the lanes. I said, if I could break the beams and then get it back, we can address this issue. We have all night into tomorrow, and I think they were going to start eliminations around like 12. So I was like, we have plenty of time. I've never had a power glide apart, but it's nuts and bolts. We have a million people here that can probably figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Anthony's more than willing to guide me over the phone how to do it. So we're going to go buy the parts. I looked it up, and it was like $1,800 for one of just a gear set. And I'm like, damn, I don't really want to spend that kind of money. I'm already pretty deep into
the
getting
weekend.
to this point. I was like, you know what, whatever. We'll deal with that when we get home. So
That's tomorrow's problem.
I'd imagine when you were working on it, it's like that scene from the movie, is it The Last Castle or Castle with, what's the guy's name? He does the crazy face. Nicolas Cage. What's the name of that movie where he's pulling the shield off the bombs?
The Rock.
Is it The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah, they expose
Yeah,
the little green balls.
Yeah. You're just like sliding the transmission case off. You're like, okay, now what? You're going to turn the knob, but only a quarter inch.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we were too deep at that point. We're like,
You're committed, right.
We're not going to throw it in. We'll just deal with this credit card bill when we get home. So that was just for the gear set. So I'm like, assuming, this could be a $2,000+ venture once we get this thing apart.
Yeah.
And we had broke the beams or whatever, successfully got it back, and now it's time to let's tear this apart so we can get to Summit, get these parts, and figure out what's going on. Now it's like 5 o'clock. Summit closes at 7. So like, all right, it's an hour away. We got
to sort what's
see what we need here quickly. So we pulled the transmission out, and Tony Garcia was with us, so he was on the crew, which is awesome to have him.
Right, just
out there.
a piece.
And he's like, oh, found the issue. It's not the transmission, it's the flex plate. So it was just chattering back and forth because all the bolts had back out of the crank. So luckily it didn't gouge the crank up too bad, oblong the bolts in the flex plate. So we would just put it back together with some heavy Loctite.
Yep.
In hopes that it wouldn't come back out, and it was fine. We had got it back together and were able to finish the weekend out on that same setup. So.
Which could have been just something kind of brewing from the test passes and, again, learning, growing pains.
Right, yeah.
It's a good thing you caught it, too, because that could have been...
Oh, yeah, it could have been major issues.
The end.
It wiped the crank out. But we had it in and out in it was like 35 minutes, which is just the way the chassis is designed makes it super easy to work on.
Right.
Everything's accessible right there. So
just in time for hot dogs.
But yeah, we got it back together, and the following day we had another. I think we had like a 9-second Evo. It looked like it possibly was her. I wasn't familiar with the car, and I had seen the roster of where it qualified in the lineup, and it was running like mid-9s or something. When it pulled up to the staging lanes, it was smoking like pretty bad out the exhaust. So I knew either something was going on with it, or either way, even if it was running full potential, we should have them covered.
Yeah. You've seen it was a wounded gazelle.
Yeah, we ran a 770 earlier, and he was
In the
9
nines,
seconds. So
yeah.
I was like, you know what? We're going to put a very conservative launch in it just to make sure it doesn't spin, because that's the only place that I can really mess this up. If I spin, the show's over. Like
Right.
Carl Ave is covered. So
Yeah, you're not going
came
to
out
regain.
really soft, and I think ran like an 8.0 or an 8.1,
Mhm.
and was able to advance onto the
Conservative.
Yeah, very conservative.
This guy.
I can
We ran a conservative 8.0.
could literally run up and down twice before I finish in any of my cars. So how are you feeling at this point? Is there just so much kind of going on that you're not really thinking about your position, or are you getting nervous of like, holy shit?
At this point, I'm looking at the roster and saying, all right, it's such a small community, the Mitsu community. I kind of already know what all these guys are capable of running.
Gonna
I
be
looked
familiar.
at all the contenders that were left, and I knew I kind of had an idea of who was going to take who out, just knowing what their cars have run in the past. So I kind of had played out what the ladder was going to end up with if I advanced each round. So the following round, I had a buy run. So another basically freebie.
Yep.
And I had knew that after that, we were going to have either the Wild Evo,
Yep.
Nick Amaral, which is a local, or Rafe, which is his, basically they're partners. They have very similar cars. Rafe does the motors for Nick and vice versa.
Torrington
Those
boy.
cars do not run without the other one. If one's out, the other one's testing. So they get double the data every pass. They're super fast. The guys have gone over 200 miles an hour. And they were running like 750, I believe, all weekend. So
Who tunes Rafe? Rafe tunes Rafe stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They have some outside help when they went to the Motec ECUs, but for the most part, they're doing everything themselves now.
They're by me.
Yeah.
Like one exit away.
They are hardcore. Those guys have no give up. They literally.
I know. I follow that dude Wild Evo, and it's
Yeah.
constant.
when you
There's
drive by the
just-
shop, it's just an oasis of Evos.
Yeah,
it's,
A lot
it's
of
real
Evos.
wild over there.
they're using some really good parts, and they're not scared to tear stuff up. Like they'll push whatever it takes to run the number, and that's what it takes, unfortunately, at that level.
Right.
But I knew that they were going up against each other, so it could go either way. Those cars are pretty equal. Rafe's been a little bit faster, but on any given day, could go either way. And Rafe had red lit against Nick, and Nick was moving on to the next round against Jared Early, which has a Conquest with a 4G.
Yep.
And that car's been super fast. I know the car well. Jared's been doing it for a long time. He has a clutchless G-Force or Liberty, so I know they constantly like chasing adjustments on that thing, and it's not as consistent as the auto cars. So watching him all weekend, he was upwards of like 192, 193 miles an hour. So I know the potential of the thing to go could go a
This is
6.
ridiculous.
And he had Nick on the next round. I had a bye, so the winner of that was going to race me in the final.
Yep.
I really thought it'd be cool to see me and Nick, two local New England guys,
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
running in the final.
Yep.
Plus, we're both customers of Victor. Victor did the chassis for
Yep.
Nick and does all the stuff on there. So he always busts my chop and been really a motivator to keep me going through the whole downtime of the Mitsu thing, because I got bored, It took a long time between 2016 and now to get this thing running. So I got
Right.
sidetracked with the LS stuff and whatnot. And then seeing Nick progress and get faster and faster and always kind of busting my chops, get out there. I was like, man, that'd be sick to be in the final with him.
It's also sick to take 9 years off, come back, just fucking blazing. This guy's been gone for 9 years.
Come out swinging.
He's fucking swinging.
But yeah, so he ended up getting taken out by Jared. He had a shifter issue. So on that run against Rafe, when Rafe red lit, I guess Nick didn't realize that he had red lit and tried making a full hit and ultimately broke the transmission. So he had one round to get transmission swapped out. They did it in like 35 minutes on a all-wheel car. A rear-wheel car is one thing. It just slides
Right.
in and out. They had that
Jesus.
thing in and out and put back together to make the next round against Jared. And during that time, either a shift cable got damaged on the previous pass or not installed right or whatnot. So he had Jared on the 1, 2, 3. He went for fourth gear and nobody was home. And he ultimately lost that race to Jared Hurley with the Conquest. So it was me and Jared in the finals. So
Yep.
going into that, Tyler was looking over the data, and he's like, man, we're going to have to put something in it, and you got to be on the light because Jared's not a slouch at the light. The car's been obviously faster than I have all weekend. To that point, I'd run a 770 at I don't know, 179 or something like that.
Yep.
So we knew to just keep up with his 190 mile an hour runs or potential. I think we went 760 earlier in the weekend. So we had to make up a lot of headway to to catch him if he was going to run flat out.
Is he sharing the info with you as far as hey, here's kind of the profile I'm aiming to build? And
yeah, no, that's one thing I like about Tyler. He's super transparent. Like, hey, you willing to burn this thing down? Or
we go in scorched earth. Yeah.
And I was like, well, now we're committed. There was one thing that was concerning me. Like, I knew we had enough fuel system, the motor. We were running it way under the potential of what the thing can support.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me that it's good for X amount of horsepower, and we weren't near that. So I was like, yeah, I'm okay with it if you feel okay with it. But the turbo was at its limit when we were looking at the shaft speed data. There's like critical shaft speed where you can't exceed that or else the thing is literally going to self-destruct.
Yeah.
So I told him if we can stay underneath critical shaft speed, I don't care what you run for boost and how much nitrous you want to use, just set it up, put the safety in there.
Hit me.
So I'm going to shut off certain safeties and we'll go from there. And he had a perfect estimate of what it was going to do and hit the nail on the head. So
Yeah.
Of course he did.
I was going to say, it's incredible. I just,
Fucking Sean Connery.
it's
just math, I guess, and I'm not so good at math, so I let him do all those.
right.
calculations.
You tell me, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like landing something in space.
Yeah.
Like the math involved to
It's like calculating light years.
dial this in perfectly.
Yeah.
Atoms of fuel.
And I assume, are you sharing ambient temperature, track data, that sort of stuff with him
yes.
in order to apply into those calculations? I'd imagine.
So time of day, direct sunlight on the track, stuff
Dew
like
point,
that. He wants to know.
Humidity.
Yeah.
Elevation.
He already had that data because he can pull it off of the weather app.
Yep.
But he's taken all that into consideration. So
Right.
What's the thing they put on the track to like?
The bite.
The prep.
We don't do that, but yeah, they have like a. Oh man, I'm gonna biff this.
No, I
but
think
it's
it
like
measures like.
It's the grip. They
Yes.
twist it, and it has like a torque meter on it, and they'll see how much bite is on the track.
Right. The stickiness of.
Traditionally, the DSM shootout, they don't do heavy prep because these all-wheel cars break like crazy. So it's
Right. They
known
don't
that
necessarily
they're
want.
not going to put a ton of VHT down or give us a radial prep because these guys are just going to be spitting their guts out everywhere.
When I was at Epping, I was watching these guys do this, and I'm like, "What? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't get it."
Yeah, they're checking.
And I just went around.
More
And I
math.
found some like old, like kind of like boomer guy. I was like, "What are they doing?"
Dude, I remember the first time I stepped on that shit. I lost my shoe.
Oh yeah, people don't realize that's fly.
It's
paper.
ridiculous,
We'll usually just
yeah.
go out there and kind of twist your foot into it and get an idea of how it is.
Yeah. What
like
it's
the-
running.
Like peak sunlight, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you go out there and it's greasy.
Mhm.
And you'll see your cars are not going to 60 foot or go as fast. But as soon as 3, 4 o'clock comes around, that's when things start really
Starts
hooking.
to cool.
So
and
we knew that final was going to go off at 5, 6 o'clock. It was going to be a good pass. So we gave it a lot more out of the hole and we're able to spray it a little bit further down track. Previously, we were just using the nitrous to spool it up and get it on the converter and get it on the chip and then just let the boost take it down.
Yeah.
But we were able to leave it on, I think, fast 660 and then turn it back on down track.
What are your 60 foots? Do you share that?
Yeah, it's been 119, 60 foot. At that particular weekend,
my
the best we went was like a 122.
It's
Actually, no, 120.
it's rear wheel drive only, right? Or-
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you actually shared this on your Instagram there.
Yeah, so
128 is fast
That
as
was-
fuck.
that was actually that Evo, I believe, that we...
To
ran
put it in
against.
perspective, like a good Civic one is like 19, 18.
Yeah, I think the fastest Civic now, I don't know. Speed Factory's been pretty fast, but they're all wheel.
Mhm.
I think they're similar to
Yeah, that's
what we're
all.
running now. But yes,
I mean,
a regular front wheel drive, if you're running in the 1.4s, is pretty good.
Yeah, 1.4 is like
That's really fast.
I've seen. Yeah, I think actually you're right. I think I have seen 1.4s, like a couple front wheel drive Civic guys.
So if you look at that slip, the eighth mile an hour is higher than the quarter mile an hour. So that indicates that I had coasted. Basically, I let off at the eighth,
Right.
coasted
And just
through. And
It's crazy. You coast for an eighth mile and you only lost 2 miles an hour.
those fucking ceramic bearings.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly what they are.
I love when you see the brakes go up and then you see the time and it's like 791 or wherever the fuck, and you're like,
A lot of it's made in the front half, which people don't take into consideration. But
Yeah.
yes, it is still wild that you can coast that fast.
I remember there was like I always thought that the bracket racing shit was hilarious because these dudes would like, for example, you have like a 10-second card, it's a 10-5 bracket, and so they'd beat the balls off of it and then get the fourth and be like break,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
try and
yeah.
time that 10-5 perfect.
Yeah.
That shit's hilarious.
So you were feeling pretty comfortable. You knew your competition. You knew the car was set up right. Are you just so locked in, focused?
Yeah, so that's one thing. My routine, I get strapped in the car way before, we get pulled up to the line, whatnot. Kind of have no, nothing bothering me or people interrupting. So I'm just in. The good thing with having a good crew is they take care of everything.
It reassures you.
Yeah, they tow me to the line, and like literally from the trailer to the starting line, I'm already in the car, not necessarily strapped in, but we get up to the staging area. They check belts.
I was going to say they help strap you in as well.
They help strap me in. I don't have to do anything, checking tires or whatnot. So at that point now, I'm just getting focused as far as, thinking about cutting the light and making sure all systems are go. The good thing is, again, they're checking. Everybody has their own job.
Yeah.
Only one guy touches the CO2 and the nitrous bottles, make sure that's on. Another guy does the tires. One guy specifically lines me up so that way it's consistent every time we were getting put on the track.
Yeah.
And the burnout procedure and all that. So that's good because you get in a routine where if you get thrown off, it just throws off everything else
For sure.
down track. So knowing that I had them all there to help me was a blessing. And then, it's just, getting focused to try to cut a light and hopefully everything works in our favor. But we did the burnout procedure. The car didn't stall, nothing funny. So was able to pull up to the light. Nothing's worse than your competitor lights the first bulb and then you're kind of having a
Fighting to get,
or feeling like you're being pressured to catch up. So I had done the burnout. We both do them together.
It's crazy to think. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's crazy to think about. Like, the race starts at the burnout. Then, from what you're saying, obviously we understand green go, but
if
like
you like to have that certain procedure, like yes,
it could. Yeah, you could mess with the
there
opponent.
Is courtesy staging that they always implement, which is don't light both bulbs, and then now your other competitor is forced to go in right away. So they do enforce that, which is good. So even if your game is thrown off or your car stalls in the burnout or whatever, your competitor technically should only light up one bulb, wait for you to pre-stage and light your bulb, and then you guys can go in together.
Yeah.
There's what's called an auto start feature, and I believe it's 7 seconds since both of you guys light your first bulbs to bump into your next one. So sometimes stick shift guys or competitors will try to get in your head if they know they can get up on their chip really quick. An auto turbo car requires a decent amount of time to spool this thing up, bump it in. If your tune-up's on point, when your turbo sized right or using the right amount of nitrous, you can come up fairly quickly. But stick guys will generally take advantage of that, and they'll use the full 7 seconds. And now that's another thing that gets in your head, where if you're sitting there,
I'm sitting.
It must feel like an eternity.
7 seconds is a long, long time.
Right, to be waiting to
and you're just heating up the transmission fluid, like everything is going out the window. So you don't want to sit on it. So the natural thing is, hey, let off the gas, let this guy bump in and get back in it. But when you do that, now this thing has to start all over again and build boost and whatnot. And by the time they're in the second bulb, that thing drops and
it's too late.
The show's over. Yeah.
What a crazy concept. So you say 7 seconds. It feels like forever. It's such a long time.
Yeah.
But then your time down the track
is about the same.
It's about the same, and it happens in the blink of an eye.
You're stressing the shit out of this motor and driveline components if you're on it for 7 seconds.
Potentially
on the two-step,
right.
And then another 7 seconds down track. Like something could potentially be coming apart.
Right, especially if you're tuning to particular temps, and by the end of this run, I want to reach this temp, but you're sitting at that well before your expected time.
Yep.
There's a ton to it. It's crazy. It truly is. It just.
So Jared's a really respectful racer, and he didn't try pulling any of that stuff. And even if he did, hey, that's racing. That's something that is part of it. Those rules are in place. That time is in place for that reason. But we literally both bumped in within a second of each other on the second bulb, and then it was a clean race all the way down. And I had let off the button. Never seen him since. He had wheelied a little bit. And I believe he had to pedal it. He actually 60-footed better than me, and just my reaction time was a little bit better. So that's why I'd never seen him in my peripheral until I got down to the end.
Yeah.
And made the turn off and got out of the car and strapped myself and still didn't realize what the hell happened.
I was just going to say, did you
realize I knew I won, but I didn't know if I red lit. I didn't know what happened with him.
Yeah.
And I was asked him, I was like, hey, man. He's like, congratulations. And I was like, was it a good pass? And he's like, oh yeah, it was, because I know what I put in my car to try to beat you.
Yeah.
How fast we were running all weekend, and I couldn't catch you. And I was like, holy shit. So I knew it was the personal best. And then knowing that we took the win was just had me on cloud nine.
Yeah,
Still
just
took a while to sink in.
Yep.
You had a cool little photo
Yeah.
of the crew here. Well, check
Yes, sir.
your winnings.
And
That's
my
awesome.
son was on site, so that was the first time he ever got to see the car race.
I was gonna
He's
say, I
6
thought I
years old
seen-
now, so I
Man,
Yeah.
what a wild thing. You're like, now I think he's going to think this happens every time.
Yeah, it was funny because leading up to it, he knew, because I told him, hey, man, we're going on vacation in Ohio, because he went the year before to watch, and he was
Mhm.
like, oh, it's cool. We brought his bicycle, and we rode around the pits all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I told him, hey, it's going to be a little different. We're gonna have
Dad's
the
got some work
bikes
to
and
do.
stuff, but we're going to be focused on the car. He's like, are you going to win? I said, no, buddy, we're probably not going to win. He said, there's 32 cars there. We're going to have fun. And he's like, why aren't you going to win? I was like, well, you don't win every time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had no anticipation of doing that. So now that he's seen this, it's kind of probably a bad thing because he thinks it's normal.
He's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean we're not going to win?
Yeah.
We did last time.
He even told his teacher, he's like, we're going to a race, but Dad's not going to win.
That's brutal. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where'd you hang up the giant check?
You know, it's still sitting inside the trailer, but I think I'm going to bring it to Victor's shop so he can hang it on the wall with
That's-
a picture of the car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he has a lot of other customer pictures there, and I think it would fit good over there.
That's a
That's a
really
great
good
idea.
one. Yeah, that's a really good one to hang up there.
So that's the story of that
Yes.
weekend event. And I think you kind of alluded to it. You said LS stuff, right? Is
Yeah,
this,
so I got a little bored during the build, and I don't know, probably was that in 2016? I had acquired a Volvo chassis that a buddy of mine was going to the military and was like, hey, I'm going to scrap this thing. I can't sell it. He was in the process of doing a Mitsu swap, and that's how I knew him. He's a buddy from New Hampshire, Zach. And it got to the point where he's like, man, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Come and get this thing, or else it's going to go to the scrap. And I knew
Yep.
he painted the bay, and it was presentable. The body was decent. It was a model that I guess is a rare. I didn't know nothing about Volvos. So
Mhm.
again, I was kind of
I was
thrown
pretty
to the
focused.
Volvo scene by acquiring one. It was a 780 Bertone, so it's a two-door version of a 7 Series. And they were made in limited numbers, I guess, built in Sweden, then sent to Italy for Bertoni to do their thing, similar to like a Saline or one of those
Right.
carriage builder type chassis people. So this car back in 91 supposedly was like $60,000. So it's a really expensive limited edition model.
That's it's a
So-
wild price.
I had come across it for free and was like, all right, we'll do a 4G, and then started pricing it out. I'm like, man, doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And at the time, TJ was doing he had a Ford Ranger with an LS that we had successfully swapped in. I was like, man, this is super easy, super cheap, fun. Sloppy Mechanics was at its peak where they were getting a lot of traction online. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this because it was be a lot cheaper. And we had put an LS in that Bertone. And then I did 2017, I did Drag Week with it. So
Yep.
that was what hooked me on Drag Week. And I think we went 1150 because it didn't have any safety stuff back in 17. And then we've seen how easy it was to make power with the thing. It was literally junkyard parts. We took a turbo from a school bus. It was like a whole set. HX, I don't even know. And it was a big turbo. But it worked, and it spooled the thing, and I think we had $5,000 total into the car, said
Yep.
and done. So after that, we had decided, hey, let's go a little bit faster, but we're going to need a roll bar in it and try to get after it. So I think we made like 750 horsepower or something with this thing, and I'm like, damn, this is too easy, and like started rethinking the whole 4G stuff because we're making this kind of power with
Right. You suddenly,
literally
yeah.
$200 motor. But it was fun. We kept it streetable, and then went back to Drag Week in 2018 with a roll bar in it, and we were able to run Street Machine Eliminator, which is it's like an index class. You can't go faster than 10.0,
Okay. Yep.
but it's the biggest class at Drag Week. There's like 250 entries, and we were able to get like top 10. And at the end of the week, they do a runoff for to see if you can be in the bracket final, I guess you'd
Yep.
call it. So I was never successful at going past that because because I'm not a bracket racer, but just to be in top 10 with that thing was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then 2019, my son was born, so I had taken the year off and always still had the car, drove it around town and go do burnouts and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
still progressing on the E30, so I didn't want to dump too much money into it, but we did go through a revamp with putting like a built motor in it and a real turbo. We bought like a 98 millimeter that was capable of really crazy power. And I had signed back up for drag week, and then COVID hit. So
Yep.
they canceled it. And if you signed up, you had preference to re-register in 21 without having to go on that crazy wait list, because in
It's become such a
history, drag week sells out in about 3 minutes. So if you're
Oh
not
my
quick
god.
to type on the computer, you can literally
right. That's it.
not get a spot. So I had early entry and had signed up for 21, and now we have this car that's, I think it was making like 980 horsepower.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and we're still street driving it and having fun with it. But it's a little much for the 10.0 index, but it didn't have the safety to run in the next class up. So we had dialed it back and just ran that 10.0 street machine eliminator class again. And on the last day, I was like, you know what? Screw these rules. I don't care if I get kicked out. I'm not in competition. Let's turn it up. And I had met Tyler because the event ended in Michigan at his home track. So I'm like, hey, Tyler,
Yep.
we're going to be at a local track. Meet me down at the facility. And I want us to put a tune-up in this thing to see if we can go in 890.
See what we can do.
It would run like 10.0, but at 158 miles an hour, which is good for an 8-second pass.
Yep.
So we knew it had the power to do it. And we attempted to do it, and unfortunately it banged the limiter and threw the serpentine belt off and didn't ultimately put up the show that we wanted to. But
Yeah.
it was fun. We put the belt back on it, put it back in the trailer, and got it home and had a blast with it. But the drag week thing is definitely something I recommend if you have the chance to do it.
Yep.
It's awesome. Like the road trip aspect of it, being with your friends, stopping at all the checkpoints.
It seems super
you know,
cool. Yeah.
Just being out there for the whole week. Like you can get all your drag week drag racing fix in 1 week's worth of drag racing for a whole year. So if
Yep.
you have a family or whatnot, as we get older, things change.
A
So,
great vacation to
yeah.
Yeah.
And you see father and son out there doing it. At some point, maybe I'll like do that with my my son. He's a little young now, to take him during the start of school, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been awesome. So that particular car, the Bertone, after 21, I had got a message from these guys in the UK that somehow knew the car just from following on Facebook, and they were like, hey man, would you consider selling that thing? And I didn't really pay any mind to it. Or I think they put a post up on one of the Volvo enthusiast page, like, anybody have a car for sale that would be turnkey? And I just put a picture of it, didn't say anything, and got a private message from these guys, hey, would you consider selling it? And at that point, I knew I needed a little more money to fund the E30, because Victor was at a point where I was like, hey man, we need, I forget what it was, some certain parts or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? My son now, I did it in 21. He was young enough where he wasn't, hey, where's dad for the week?
Right.
He's still a baby, and my wife could handle it. So I was like, you know what? Probably a good idea. Let me just get rid of this thing and cash out while I can. And these guys were serious. They had sent me pictures of cars that they were running in the UK, and they were doing Speed Week. If you ever see where they shut down the highway in Sweden. So they had a Volvo that they were running out there, and they always wanted to come to the US and race, but the logistics to get their car over, it was cheaper to just buy a car. They wanted the experience more than to come out and be competitive.
Deal with all
But what
that,
they're
right.
doing out there was serious. These guys are top runners in that Speed Week, or Swede Week, I think it's called. So they're
Cool
doing a UK version of their drag weekend, and then this Swedish version where they ship the car over and do that. So we came to negotiation. They pretty much wanted to show up and just have a bag and drive the car.
Car prepped, just hop in
And I was at PRI with Victor, and they had wired me the funds, and I was like, holy shit, this is real.
it's
like,
happening.
yeah. And I was like, all right, well, no turning back now. Like, we're going to be there on it was sometime in January.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Can you make this happen?" And the car was running. It was turnkey at the time, but they're like, "We need it registered, insured.
Mhm.
Like, we want to take this thing, and we're gonna drive it to Florida because that's where sick week starts." And I was like, "Oh man, like I've done drag week. I think the most we did was 1,200 miles.
Yeah.
That's over the course of a weekend. You're doing 300 miles a day, roughly.
It's not 16-hour stints.
Yeah. And I'm like, I told them straight out, I don't know if this thing's gonna make it to Florida. Like, I've never done that. I said it's done 1,200 miles over the course of a week. It's been reliable. It's proven. It runs this in a quarter mile. It makes this power.
Mhm.
But from here to Florida, I personally wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would tow it. And they're like, "Oh, we want the experience. It's part of it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm paid. It's yours. You do
Yeah.
what you want with this thing."
Yeah.
And they were super nice guys, more than qualified to like do roadside repairs.
Right, and
whatnot. They're
handle-
drag
yeah.
racers. So they're like, "What's the weather like out there?" I'm like, "Dude, it's January." They show up at Logan. I pick them up in the dually. They have shorts on and like 2 duffel bags. And these are guys with heavy London and like UK accents, like super nice guys. And they're like, "Holy shit, these guys are nuts." So they show up. By the time we got home from Boston, it's, I don't know, 8 o'clock. It's too dark. They're like, "Just bring us to the hotel and pick us up in the morning. We'll get breakfast and go to the house and check the car out."
Yeah.
I'm already paid on this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had already secured insurance for them, which was a pain in the ass in itself because they have international licenses.
Right.
They don't have a U.S. address, so they want a home garage address for this thing. So I used my address, and the insurance agency was like, "Man, you really shouldn't do this because now they kill somebody with this thing. Your property is what is on the
Associated.
line with
Yeah.
this thing." I'm like, "Oh, well, I have no choice now." So I already got their money, and I promised them, and I kind of knew what they were going to do. They didn't seem like reckless guys. They were, I don't know, a little older than me. One was in retirement age. But I had got insurance, and at that time, after COVID, remember with the RMV, you had to make appointments. And
Right.
it was a pain in the ass. If you missed
Yeah.
an appointment or didn't have your paperwork in order,
Yep.
you were like weeks, sometimes months out to get this shit resolved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is the only thing that's going to bone us here. If these guys go to the RMV, and I had the appointment set for them on the day after they landed, and they had limited time. They were going to leave Florida. I believe they gave themselves like 5 days to
Yep.
make the trip down and get all this situated. So I'm like, I don't want to have them delayed up here because I know they have X amount of trip and whatever problems they're going to have along the way. And luckily, the girl that we got at the RMV, she was like a blessing in disguise. She ended up being a somebody that we knew that was into drag racing, or her boyfriend was into drag racing. She's like, "Wait, what are you guys doing? Like, you bought this thing? What is it, a race car?" And she's like, "Hey, my boyfriend has this car." Shows me a picture, and I end up knowing the guy. And it was a great relationship. He was more than willing to help. Everything was actually correct. So luckily, none of the paperwork held us up, and they were able to get it registered. And that was the only thing that we were really worried about. So we got to my house, and now they have the plates. They still haven't even seen the car. And I pulled it out of the garage. One of the guys sits in it, and he's like, "Only one problem. I don't fit in it." And I'm like, "Well, the seats are bolted permanent to the rails. I didn't make them adjustable because the seats that came with it were all torn up, and I had got some newer modern Volvo seats from a S60. And they're not a big deal, but they were like, "We got it. Just tell us where the tools are. This is part of the experience." And these guys were like full-blown, had the thing torn apart in the driveway, and they're cutting steel and welding. And I was like,
Oh my God.
"Have at it, man." They took it around the block. They're like, "Everything's great." And they wouldn't even like let me take them out for breakfast. They were just like, "We want to hit the road."
Yeah.
And they'd
Yeah.
send me updates on the every fuel stop and on the hour with
Here's where we're
lunch
at.
and
Yeah.
beer. Every time they'd stop for food, it was a pitcher of beer.
Yeah.
They had a ball. They made it all the way
Back on the
down.
road.
They did have one setback in like the Connecticut, New York border, and they had messaged me. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, "Dude, you guys left at 2 in the afternoon.
Right. You
And
should
you're
be
only-
well past.
Yeah, you should be well past that." And they're like, "Well, we stopped for lunch and this and that." And I'm like, they said, "What is the temp that this thing normally runs at?" I was like, it usually stays around 200.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, it's climbing. It's going past 230. I'm like, "Pull over and check the fan." I told them where the relays were. They check it. They're like, "Everything's good, but the fan's locked up." I was like, "Okay, well, I sold this thing as a turnkey package, like the drag week trailer that you tow along with all your spare parts. And there was a fan inside there, but it was just a random Chinese fan that wasn't a direct replacement, but something you could probably cobble on to get you off the road. And I told them where it was. They got it all out, and they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm like, well, if you stay put, I can probably get you the Spall direct replacement.
Yep.
I started calling around to speed shops, and everybody's closed. But Milton at Westgate Performance.
Yeah, I'm sure you have
nice
him on speed dial.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go back to the shop. I'm going to leave it outside, go over there, grab it.
Yep.
And now I'm like, I message these guys to tell the wife, hey, I'm not going to be here for dinner. So I got in the truck and drove up there, and they already had it all apart. I handed off the thing. They wouldn't let me touch it because they wanted to be the ones to wrench on it, put it on, and that was the only hiccup that they had. It made it the rest of the way to Florida.
That's awesome.
They had left it at a buddy's house in Florida and then flew back the day of the event where Sick Week started, ran the event with no issues. The car ran perfect, and their intentions were to sell it because they're like, we're going to just do this, try to recoup
They just
our
want
money.
to make part of it, yeah.
And they ended up falling in love with the thing that they shipped it back to the UK, and now it's done the Swede version of Drag Week there, their UK version, and I think another event that I can't recall, but now they're looking to sell it over there.
Yeah.
And do something else. But the fact that the story behind it is so cool.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy. Yeah.
It was worth selling it because I had my second thoughts on it, but the fact that it went over there was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
But yeah, so I don't know, what does that put us around like 22? And then I did regret selling it and came across another Volvo 240 and ultimately built the same clone to what I had before, but minus the cage. So now I have another 240 with an LS that we just recently did.
I was going to say, and you did this year's drag week.
Yeah.
You yourself, Glenn, the gentleman we had in here with Kyle, I can't remember his name.
Alex.
Alex.
Yes, that was a blessing because he actually tunes the LS car for me. He's super good with the Holly.
Yep.
And having him right there was nice. But my car now is toned down to run 1150, so it didn't require a whole lot of work. But we did have a set of issues throughout the week with that thing. The plan was just to go there and have fun with like following the route and
The crew, right? Yeah.
knowing that we weren't in competition because we didn't have the safety gear to run in the 10s.
Yep.
So we were like, we're going to run 1150, probably take 8 pounds of boost to do that thing. So we dialed it all the way back, got it to 1150, and figured we're not going to have any issues. And then day one, we pick up a wheel weight that was yay long, I don't know, 6 inches long.
I was going to say, Corey's got a photo of this thing.
We're just driving along, and then I hear something.
That's crazy.
It came through the tread and out the sidewall.
Holy
So when it was poking out the sidewall, every time the tire would rotate, it would hit the shock. So I hear it like clunking back there. Like, what the hell is going on? I pull over, and sure enough, the timing was just perfect. That 1320 video pulls their van over, and they come out like, we heard this thing making its racket. What's going on? And I'm over there trying to get the wheel weight out with a hammer and a pair of needle nose pliers. They're like, you're the first casualty of the event. I'm like, oh, nice.
Perfect.
It was a cool picture they put up. But,
Yeah, that's tough. That's a huge wheel weight.
It's gigantic. Yeah. I've
What the
never
fuck was
seen
that
one
bouncing?
that big.
Bigfoot?
they should be illegal to have it that long.
Seriously.
It's a weapon.
I was going to say, it's a projectile.
That thing coming off is no good.
So we had a spare tire, but it was a 24-inch tall or something. And that was a 26-inch tire. So I knew the diff was going to be hurting if I tried to make a long drive on it. So I want to say the checkpoint was like 50 miles away. So I called up to my buddies and like, hey, get a patch kit. Not ideal to patch a sidewall.
Yeah.
Right.
But we had to do what we had to do to get off the road or finish the rest of the route because that day was like 260 miles to do all the checkpoints.
Yep.
Luckily enough, the power of the internet and the Mitsu community, like literally I put that one picture up and a random kid that I've never met before. He was super nice. He's like, man, I live in York, PA. I know the last checkpoint of the day is going to be in York, PA, and I'll meet you there, and I have 2 tires for you. I was like, yeah, whatever it is, man, I'll buy them.
Right.
He
Right.
wouldn't take any money. He showed up. He just knew me from the shootout, and I'm super thankful for that. Like,
That's super cool.
yep, he hooked it up with the 2 tires. I'm like, you have to work tomorrow? Because my ETA to get to this diner that they had on the checkpoint list was like 12 o'clock at night.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. I was like, okay, well, I'll be there. I'm going to get some dinner.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take anything. And it's crazy. Like, just the community is awesome.
Yeah. Tell him, hey, you ever need 2 tires in Massachusetts?
Yep, like, I'm your man. So, but
No, that's super cool. I'm glad you get to take part in that.
Yeah, it was fun. So other than that, when
Did
we
you do
did
the
get
whole
to that
drag week?
checkpoint, yeah, I did the whole entire thing, finished.
Where did it start? Where did it end?
So it started at MIR, so Maryland International, Butch Creek, and then it went up to Pennsylvania, hit a couple tracks there, another track in Maryland, then back ultimately to MIR.
Wow. Okay.
So it was actually one of the shortest drag weeks that we've ever had. I think it was like 650 miles or something like that. So the first day was the longest, and then the rest of them were 150 or so.
You got to hit a drag week.
That would be fun.
You
That would be
should,
real
man.
fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have a class for everybody. I suggest everybody do it, man. Like the fact that we could be right alongside of Freiberger, Finnegan. There was one day we ran out of gas with John Lorenko, Tony Garcia's brother-in-law. He was in his Grand National. He was the only guy running on pump gas. So we had all of our cars in ethanol and had a reserve in our trunk, about 10 gallons. And he's like, man, the dash lights are kind of dim. I don't know if the gas light works. I never ran it down this low. Sure enough, we're in the mountains of PA. And this is like, the hills have eyes. We're literally, his car starts sputtering. He messages us like, hey, I need gas. We look, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. There's no gas stations in sight. Everything is super far away. And we're literally in like a residential area, but these houses are a mile apart.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you're not going to knock on somebody's door. And we're like, screw it. We'll put E85 in it, figure out what we're going to do. You have to bump the fuel pressure up or whatever. This is a stock Grand National. We don't have a way to tune it or make any adjustments. If we put ethanol in it, we're probably going to mess shit up big time.
Right, right.
And we had no choice. We were like, now we're on the side of the road for a good 45 minutes, and we're pumping fuel out of our drum to transfer it into his thing. We're literally ready to pour it in. We hear like a faint in the distance, like a V8 coming. And drag week etiquette is if you're on the side of the road, you give a thumbs up to the people who are driving by.
Yep.
We're good to go. Thumbs down, you pull over and see if you have parts to help or anything. So we thumbs down, and it's Tony Angelo and the film crew pulling his Chevy. He pulls over. What's up, man? We ran out of gas. Oh, I have a jug on the back, and literally wouldn't take any money for it.
Yep.
Take the whole 5 gallons, dump it in. Off we went.
Just got sorted for
So,
that. Yeah.
It's just
That's
insane.
super cool.
Yeah. So the people you meet is just awesome,
Yeah.
and you never know who it's going to be.
And right. The only problem with that is how quick it sells out. How many people do they allow?
Usually the cutoff is about 400, and it
Okay.
sells out in about 3 minutes. Usually.
Crazy.
No, Tom's Refurb did it with like
Did
the
he?
whole crew.
We
in it.
got to meet them, surprisingly. Yeah, it was cool. They came. They loved the Volvo. They had a Starion, one of the guys, and I met the dad and Tom, I believe, the main guy on the channel. So
Crackhead. It's like my
They were
favorite
funny
YouTube
dudes.
show, bro. I
Yeah.
can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them until like a week prior when they were doing this challenge thing where they acquired all these cars. So I started watching it, and then sure enough, I'm like,
There they
Did you
are.
see the
Came
new
across them.
series?
I hadn't. No.
They had like $3,500 to spend on a piece of shit,
Yep.
and then they had to daily it for a month, and then basically make it as fast as they can with their budget for drag week, and then they're driving it drag week
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll probably have an episode coming out soon.
this week. I'm
Of the
begging
actual.
for it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking
It's
awesome.
cool because it's like it's attainable. They can relate to the common man. Where
Right.
They
it's
are
against
shit.
Cletus and those guys, but $100,000 cars. Like
It's a lot different. Right.
yeah.
When you have that budgetary restrictions.
It is way more relatable. It's just like young dudes in a garage, and they're like, "Let's
Figuring it out.
fucking
They're
throw
having
some
fun.
heads at this 302."
Right.
It's like, fuck yeah, brother.
I think they torched the springs out of that Lincoln or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
that thing
yeah.
is.
They
So
just
it's
melt
like-
springs and shit. Like
brings me back to the good old days.
that's
Yeah.
why
I was just gonna say. Right.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly it.
That's why I linked that fucking Galaxy in the group chat. I'm like, I gotta buy this now because I'm feeling compelled by this YouTube channel
Inspired,
to be a
yeah.
fucking asshole
Yeah.
and melt some springs. Why not?
good times.
What is next for you?
So with the race car, we're looking to test in the next few weeks. We are working with a turbo company now that's going to provide us a turbo that we can spin a little bit harder.
Yep.
And hopefully get that on in the next week because there's an event on the 11th that I would like to go to at New England Dragway, an 8th mile event. So we're hoping to do that. And then the car is going to be on display at World Cup. We didn't quite meet the minimum ET. So World Cup requires that you run a minimum ET and have proof, video proof to even qualify for it to buy a spot. So similar to Drag Week, they sell out pretty quick.
Yep.
And they have those minimum ETs posted about I don't know, 3-4 months in advance of when ticket sales go up for purchase. And if the class doesn't sell out within a week of their initial allocation to have that purchase done, they drop the ET to a secondary ET that you'd have to require.
Open it up a little bit more.
Yeah. So looking at the class that I fit in, I didn't meet the minimum ET for the first round pick.
Yep.
And I was on the cusp of making the minimum for the second round. So I'm like, man, if it doesn't sell out, I potentially could, if I run a little bit faster, I can run this event. Unfortunately, I'd probably be a duck, they call it in drag racing, which is just a class filler. But
just there, right?
That's the main stage. If you can make it to World Cup, it just
to compete at
up,
that point. Yeah,
so many opportunities because everybody sees it. You're talking like 40,000 people there.
Right.
Every company has eyes on it, and there's races from all over the world that go there. So ultimately, I'd love to qualify for World Cup. Next year, we'll make a big push for it because we have a lot of time to test.
Right, right.
This year, we started really late in the year when we actually went to our first event. So it's all good that I didn't qualify for it, but I was approached by a couple companies that want to have it on display there. So working out the details now as to which one it's going to be at. I can't really say yet until it's locked down, but it's going to be on site, and it'll be in their booth. And then they have an open rental on the Monday following World Cup. So you get to take advantage of the prep, so world-class prep, and the fact that you're running in November at the best air that you can ever have.
Yeah.
So temperatures, the DA, density altitude, that plays a huge role in horsepower. So that time of year has always been notorious for having really good DA. So it basically, if you're going to set a record, it's on that weekend.
That's what you're aiming for. Yeah.
We're going to do that.
And
Monday rental, so you'll have the track prep and the good air.
And this was at the Maryland track, right?
Maryland International Raceway in Budds Creek, and it'll be the day after World Cup ends.
Yeah.
So Victor will be on site, which will be nice because he's going to be crewing for the White Rice crew and Dewey Bowie with all his fleet. He's working for them that weekend, so we'll have some extra hands there and
familiar with the car and
and you have the best of the best on site. Most of the really fast teams will stay for the Monday rental. So we have some extra help on suspension.
That's super cool. Yeah.
It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. So we should go a little bit faster and hopefully get a personal best.
That'd be awesome.
And maybe with those times that we run there, it will be enough to qualify for next year. Unfortunately, you do have to post up your time during the same year that the event
calendar
is in.
year.
So it's no big deal. But if we know we can make it happen there, we can hopefully replicate it in the following year to get out there and race World Cup in the future.
It's achievable. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's great. Congratulations on your win. But then now it's like, no, there's still,
more to be had.
Ambitions and
Yes.
a goal to achieve still and all that sort of stuff. And to hear that you're getting support, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing.
Man. At this level, it's super expensive. It's all come out of my pocket other than Victor's help, obviously.
Yep.
Get a little discount there as friends and family type thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no way around it. You can look at what it costs to build something like this.
Right.
It's just it's taken me this long because it is super expensive. And now we have consumable parts and things that need to be refreshed and whatnot. So any help that I've gotten, I'm super thankful for.
Yeah. So everybody can find you on 4g63E30 on Instagram.
Yep.
Is there any websites or anything you want to plug? Shout to anybody?
Instagram's the best to follow me at in the car. I put a little bit of family stuff, a lot of antics with my son on his dirt bike and whatnot. Facebook, I'm not as active on, but everything I put on Instagram does get posted over there just under my name, Matthew Arruda.
Yep.
And just super thankful to have Victor behind the chassis and making this thing all possible. Without him, it wouldn't exist, obviously. He's done all the fab work on that thing. And then Tyler Hassing from Force Engineering in Michigan. Again, he's done all the electronics and tuning, and he's behind the engine, calling all the shots there. We got Tom Santos did all the coating on the vehicle, so keeping it looking fresh. He's made it look super nice, always hitting my crazy deadlines. Chris Cardoza from City Kid Customs did all the paint work on it, so super thankful for that. Dave Fish with the wiring.
Yep.
Like, you got to see this thing in person. Maybe I'll bring it down to the donut meet.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Would love to.
check
Or
it out.
I'd love to see it at Epping as well. try to get up there for
Yeah,
one
we'll
of the
be out
events
there
just
on
to
the-
see it in action.
the 11th, hopefully. But yeah, Dave has been super awesome to work with. He's takes pride in his work, and you can see it the way he lays everything out, and
Yep.
the fact that he documents everything. If anybody's looking for a harness, I strongly suggest you deal with him. Like literally, I can not that I'm ever going to sell it, but I could sell this car to you. You look at all the documentation, you'd be able to know where every pin is, every wire color, location, amp ratings, and association with what channel it is on the ECU. Like
Yeah, as thorough as you can get with
yeah,
that stuff.
this is
Yeah,
high
that's awesome.
high level stuff. So super thankful for him. And there's a bunch of people that I'm probably forgetting, but this thing was not just done by me. So
Yeah.
everybody's had their hands on it. I'm super thankful for.
It's a hell of a way to break the car in on its on its second round. It's a hell of a way to do it.
Thank
so
you.
congrats again, man.
It's huge.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much for joining us. You boys want to wrap it up entirely? We can
Yeah.
skip
we can
all that.
just jump in to everything next week. That's
Yeah,
totally fine with me.
we'll do
Speaking of donut meats,
Donut meet this weekend, Sunday, October 5th,
5th.
at our location here. Let's see. I think that's all I got. Everything else we can wait till next week.
yeah, God is good. Don't do crack.
Go fast.
Yeah, kill your local fentanyl dealer. All the good stuff.
Yeah. Keep it right. Yeah, keep it straight. Whatever. That's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Matt, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry, everybody out there in the YouTube world. We had a couple technical issues with the camera previously, so hopefully that's all sorted for next week. But that's all I got. Peace out.